And Nikisha.
Where we share
Very
our love
nice. Very good. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I keep
High
thinking
on a hill lived a lonely goat herd.
that exactly.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
See dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hello, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie
And Nikisha.
where we share
Very
our love
nice. Very good. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I keep
High
thinking
on a hill lived a lonely goat herd.
that exactly.
Amazing.
Or everybody's talking about Jamie, that musical. But
I forgot
it's-
about that.
Yeah, based in London, and they always like
Wait,
Jamie.
where?
You have to say it.
London, England. So there's a moment in the first Austin Powers movie where they're doing they're on their version of Zoom or whatever it was, and he's like, Austin, we're sending you to London, Eng-a-land, like something like that, and that has always stuck in my head, and I believe this wasn't like an osmosis thing, like it stuck in Jamie's head too from when she watched it, and like that's just like one of the things that we do, like one of our inside things is that like whenever somebody says London, anybody,
It doesn't matter.
it's like ingrained in me to say like London, Eng-a-land.
England. Well, now I will forever say it, but I don't remember that from the first Austin Powers, and I'm sad that I don't remember that.
It's deeply stupid, and it's like all
Yeah.
of 5 seconds.
It's like one of those TikToks you'd see, like, what's one thing that you and your partner know from, what's one thing, like, you quote a movie that no one would get it. Like, it's one of, like, those type of things.
Mhm.
But it's the American
Wait.
general being like, London, Eng-a-land.
You do such a good job saying it. I need for y'all to be on like one of those couple game shows where it's like questions like you just said, and then it's like, oh, yes, I know. We'll just put one to England. And they're gonna be like, what the heck?
Well, we see those TikToks every once in a while, and what was one of them? Oh, one of them was like, if you could win $1 billion, and you have to make like your best friend or your partner laugh by using one word. Like, what would it be? Like those type of things.
Yes, I love that. Y'all should make couple TikToks.
Oh God.
Jamie's like, kill me now.
No, thank you.
Like,
Not
"Hey,
for
I'm
me.
I'm just setting up the tripod so when we wake up it looks natural.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my god.
Those are
Too
my
much.
favorites. It's like, follow me today. It's like, I wake up and like, you've been up for an hour setting up that shot. Don't try and
Exactly.
fool me.
And you put on makeup.
This is not real life. This is why we're all fucked up in the head. Because I'm
Yeah.
comparing
That's
this
actually true.
to the hour that you spent up, and I'm like, wow, she really woke up, and the camera was there all like
Right.
the only like Paranormal Activity is the only way that I'll be like, that camera was on all night.
Exactly. And it's more interesting
Valid.
content anyway. I'd
Yeah.
rather see ghosts than you get ready to go to Trader Joe's for the day. No, thank
I don't know. I might choose Trader Joe's over ghosts. That sounds scary.
you. What? Okay. This is a
And how am I
horror
going to get my
podcast,
snacky
Brian.
clusters?
I don't know,
The
but the
ghosts are
lines
very-
at Trader Joe's are also very scary.
There you go.
Yeah.
Putting them both together. Jamie melding the worlds together. We'd love to see it. Great. Well, you're here for horror. That's what we're going to give you. And
Not
today,
Trader
not Trader Joe's horror, but 1997 Japanese animated psychological thriller horror, Perfect Blue.
K-pop or J-pop song, Smooth Like Butter.
Actually,
Okay,
yeah.
this is I have a giant hole in my like music knowledge. Is like
Mhm.
I really don't know any K-pop. I don't
Really?
even know where to start. Just putting
Mm.
that out there into the universe if I could get like a direction.
Blackpink.
Oh, I've heard of them.
You can start. You can start there. What's the
Because
guy
what's her
group?
name?
Isn't it
Lisa?
BTS? They sing the
BTS.
Butter song.
Thank you.
That's the only song I
Uh,
know.
Yeah. I don't know. And then there's what the K. I thought that song that you were singing, the smooth like, was from what? What's the TV show? K-pop Demons. That's on
Oh,
Netflix.
Oh no,
K-pop
that's
Demon Hunter?
BTS. But everyone's been talking about this so much, and I really want to watch it.
Same.
Yeah.
Someone just texted to me the other day that I need to watch it, but it shows up
Yeah.
on Netflix. But like Brian said, BTS. Thank you. My friend Renisha would kill me for not remembering that. BTS and Blackpink, I think, are like the standard ways to start. It's like,
But I
listening
didn't
to-
hear about Blackpink until the apt song with Bruno Mars.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah, because they all have individual
She's-
songs.
yeah. And then there was the K-pop musical on Broadway that was supposed to be spectacular.
Yes.
They made a K-pop musical?
Yeah.
Ooh, I bet it was
Was it-
really good.
It was off Broadway and did
Aaron-
spectacularly well. Then it went on Broadway and it didn't last that long, but it was supposed to be like truly great. I think Max Vernon wrote it. Anyway, regardless, yeah.
Can you find that name for that? I also wanted. I feel like Aaron Albano was a part of it in some form or facet. Our friend. Just speaking on, and I know there's probably so many listeners like yelling out so many K-pop.
No, it was called K-pop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by Helen Park and Max Vernon. It was Ars Nova in 2017 and and then it was on Broadway in 2022.
Yeah, my friend Aaliyah probably saw that. I'm not exaggerating. At least like 20 times. She
Sure,
was
it's supposed to
in
be
love with that
incredible.
show.
Apparently the Ars Nova one was like more interactive. I don't know. It was-
Yes. There was like
yeah.
different because Aaron was telling me about it. It was different kind of sections within the show.
Yeah,
like different stories, and you can like,
Yeah.
interact with what's going on. Then it all melts at the end. But the one that went, to off Broadway was a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out all of your K-pop favorites, and we can
Please.
get Jamie a list so she can get
Yes.
started. There's some stuff that slaps. When I was at the cycling studio, there were a few
Oh,
Blackpink songs that were
I bet that's an
Stellar.
amazing genre
Yeah.
to cycle
to ride to. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we're here talking about Japanese animated horror, and I'm excited to talk about this because I did not know anything about this, so I'm curious why. Just Jamie, you wanted to watch this. Why you chose this? We'll get into that later on. But this movie was directed by Satoshi Kon, and it's loosely based on the novel Perfect Blue: Complete Metamorphosis. So Jamie, hit us with any of the trigger warnings for this, and also heavy spoilers if you have not watched this. This was in our elementary school days, so it's get on it if you haven't watched it. But Jamie, hit us with those trigger warnings.
Yeah, there's a lot actually. So like to start, with the mental health piece, psychosis, trauma, dissociative identity disorder, like when I say psychosis, also like hallucinations and delusions. There is also murders, stalking, like imposters, parasocial relationships, like obsession with idols. There is also like a pretty graphic sexual assault scene. And there's also nudity. And yeah, a lot of like pretty brutal, violent murder scenes depicted, stabbings, bludgeonings, things like that. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of it. That feels, and it's a lot packed in like only what 75 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the movie is very short, but it captures a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. Well, before we get into all of the things, Perfect Blue, producer Brian has some words to share with us, and it's not London, Eng-a-land.
It
but
could
other
be.
words.
It
It
could
could be.
be.
Yes.
Hi everybody. Producer. I almost said Professor Brian. Producer Brian here.
And producer.
That's your side gig.
Yeah, it's my
Right.
side gig. We are not just here, but thank you so much for watching us and listening to us here. Hi YouTube. Hi podcast listeners.
When you were like, we're not just here, I was like, are we an illusion? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Very on brand.
We are also on TikTok at Talk Horror Pod. We are also on Instagram at Talk Horror Pod.
Oh, sleepy
excuse
Brian.
me.
Uh-oh.
No, and follow us there for other horror stuff. It's not just these movies. It's trailers and lists and suggestions and things like that. So definitely check that out. And follow us there because we're growing a community and it's fun. And thanks.
Yes. Thanks for being a part of our community.
Good stuff.
y'all.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Fun things. So have you guys watched anything this week?
We saw the new Superman movie.
I heard it was
Mhm.
excellent.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was.
Okay. I'm
Um,
screaming. What's the extra in that?
no, it was.
Brian?
No, it was. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't.
okay.
There's no
Why
extra
do
in
you
that.
say it like that?
I put a little
Yeah,
spice in it, but
it
it
was.
wasn't spicy. It was. We had a really good time.
Okay.
I'm now rating things like, is it worth the babysitter? And the answer was yes.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we had a great time. It was really fun. It was great to see it in the theater. Thematically, it was really pleasing. I cried. I sobbed twice.
Nice.
It was nice to get out and sit in the movie theater together. The performances, the casting was top notch.
Mhm.
We had a great time. Absolutely did.
Love it.
Oh,
Well,
I have something else that I did watch.
Oh.
However, I didn't finish it, so it doesn't count, like on my
Wow.
letterbox. But
Hmm.
I turned on the Blackwell Ghost.
What is
A
that?
59-minute found footage movie. There's like 7 sequels to it, but apparently it's supposed to be a very good found footage movie. It's basically about this guy who doesn't believe in ghosts. Long story short, he's trying to film it because there's a lot of like about this Blackwell ghost. Anyway, long story short, I started it and I fell asleep like 10 minutes in. Not because I was tired, not because it was boring. I actually thought it was really good. So I need, it's only, the thing was under an hour and I couldn't make it through. So my intention is to finish it. But
Brian's
it's some
just
of
a
the
sleepy guy.
I'm just a sleepy guy. In the first 10 minutes, some of the best acting I've seen in a found footage movie.
Oh, that's great.
Just, it feels so crazy real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
so,
love that.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to put that on my long list to watch. I have not watched Shaun of the Dead yet, but it's on. It's the top. I know.
Me too.
By the time we record again, I will have watched it and it will be great and all will be well.
I mean, we could do that next week instead.
I
To
mean,
make you.
Yeah. Just to make me do
To
it.
force you. That could be our next episode.
I don't mind because I feel like I'm gonna love the movie anyway with what I've seen about it. So
Okay.
I'm down.
Maybe so. We'll just
We'll discuss.
Yeah, we'll discuss. So stay tuned.
But I did
Force
watch
you.
something else. It wasn't horror, but it involves producer Brian because I watched his BMI, Final Form of the
Yay!
Bride, which was so excellent. And so when you were making those voices at the beginning of the episode, I just kept thinking of your song in that show.
Oh,
And it was excellent. Like, it was
thank you.
so fun seeing you perform because I don't get to see you perform a lot. So it was just like
Sure.
great and truly like the funniest number in the whole thing. But it was just so fun to watch. And I don't know Father of the Bride. I don't know the movie. I haven't watched it.
Sure.
But I'm like, I would sit and watch a musical about this with these characters. And
Sure.
it was just it was so fun.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
I was in the BMI musical theater writing workshop for 3 years. That was my final project. It's a prestigious musical theater writing workshop. Nikisha was in the horror musical I wrote last year, which you I'll put the links in the description here.
Yeah.
But you can watch Seance, which Nikisha starred in last year. And then this year we did an adaptation of like some songs from Act 1 of Father of the Bride, the musical. And one of our actors had to bow out because he got sick. So I had to play the part, which I'd been doing the whole year anyway.
Right.
So,
Oh,
but I jumped in
man.
and did that. Yeah, yeah.
That makes it even more special because I'm like, oh yeah, of course Brian would play this character.
Yeah,
like
the
it totally
intention
makes
was-
sense.
The intention was I was going to watch it all,
Right.
just to take it all in. But yeah, but I had a great time. It was really fun. Thank you for the kind words. That's very nice of you.
And also I loved the song by the daughter, and her voice is pristine.
Oh,
Her
Brenna's voice is
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
How do you know her?
That is the composer's best friend.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
She was perfect for that, and she
Yeah.
fucking nailed that song. And then my friend from Seance was the father. He was so
Oh,
great.
Danny. Yeah.
Yes.
Danny
No,
has a
it's awesome.
newborn, and he was about to go on tour as Lumiere, which he's on tour right now. And I was like, you can say no. And he's like,
Right.
no, I'll do it. I'll do it. I was like, are you sure? He's like, no, I'll help you. And I was like, that's very kind of you. But yeah, he was great.
No, that's
He's
awesome.
Lumiere on the Beauty and the Beast tour, the national tour.
Casual.
Okay.
So casual.
And
Yes.
his wife is in the cast, so they're traveling the country with their newborn.
Oh my god.
It's wild. They're amazing.
I couldn't even do it by myself. I can't imagine. A partner and a baby
And a dog. So I think their Instagram is 4 and a Forester. And they're just like
That's cute.
documenting
That's
their families are traveling with them. They're helping. It's like a whole village. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. Do you think you'll write the entirety of that musical?
No, because we're not
Okay.
going to spend any too much more energy on it without the rights. Because this was just like
Oh.
a project.
Right.
We
Right.
will, however, we wrote an extra song that we're going to edit, and we're gonna just tweak a little bit so that we have that. And then we were only allowed to write songs from Act 1 because it was all about character songs. So we'll
Yeah.
probably write an Act 2 song just so we have some sort of a package. But we're still
Yeah.
working out that stuff.
Love it. I hope that it all goes through. And record the things, just throw it up on platforms if you can.
Exactly,
after you
totally.
get,
Yeah,
rights and stuff. But
totally.
yes. Fantastic. All right. Well, we're here to talk about Perfect Blue, but we need a plot summary first.
What's the plot?
So producer
right.
Ryan's going to give us a 2-minute plot summary, which should be pretty easy.
I think so.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right. Producer Brian, you have 2 minutes on the clock to tell us everything you know about Perfect Blue. Are you feeling perfectly ready for this?
There's nothing going to be perfect about this. I might feel blue afterwards, but we'll see.
All right. Ready, steady, go.
Okay, so we have a character named Mima, who is one of 3 in a K-pop group, who's kind of starting to get popular. She decides to leave the band and become a full-time actress. And she is kind of regretting it a little bit. But she confides in her manager, who was a former pop idol named Rumi. Mima lands a role in a detective series called Double Bind. Um, they get her that role, but her manager and her management team want her to have a bigger role. They get it. However, she has to do a rape scene. And that kind of is like, ruining her image. She also has a stalker at the same time. The stalker has created a website, and the website is basically like her private diary as told from her perspective. Um, and she starts to kind of like break mentally, have a psychosis where like her real life and her and her show life are combining. And then people who have wronged her around her, like a photographer who kind of coerced her into taking nude photos, the writer who gave her the rape scene, are starting to get brutally murdered around her. And she can't remember. Her mental instability is growing. She can't remember if it was her she did that. But she starts to see her pop idol version of herself, who's trying to basically get rid of her because they kind of like allude to it being split personality. And then the character that she plays is said in the show is said to have dissociative identity disorder, and that kind of like throws her for a loop. And we're just going back and forth. We don't know what's real or what's not. We find out that Me Mania, who is the name of the person who's been stalking her, has been influenced to do this by her pop idol self. But we find out that the pop idol self is actually Rumi, who has dissociative identity disorder, her manager, and basically is obsessed with her, and wants to make sure that her pop idol self wins over. She tries to kill her, but she escapes. And at the end, Rumi is in a mental institution, and Mima is able to like recognize that she's the real thing now that she's a popular actress. The end.
Yeah.
And that's the plot.
Hey. Great. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty with our first segment, Trick or a Treat, where we let you know, was this a trick? We hated it, or we don't know how we feel about it, or it was a treat. We loved it.
Trick. Treat.
So, Jamie, how about you go first?
Sure. For me, this movie is a treat.
Nice. Producer Brian.
Sure. This was my first time ever watching it. And this was a treat for me.
Yes. And Jamie, was this your first time watching it?
No.
Okay. This is my first time watching it as well. And I also thought it was a treat. So treats all around.
Yay!
Woo, treats for everyone.
Candy!
Candy for us all. Great. So let's get into detail with likes and gripes.
And now our likes and gripes.
Jamie, since you picked this movie, I would love for you to start and let us know
Sure.
why you chose this and why it was a treat for you.
Yeah. So I first learned about this movie and first watched it in college. My sophomore year, I took a class called Pop Goes Japan.
Cute.
And it was
really
all
cool.
about Japanese pop culture. And I don't really remember like the context for why we watched this particular movie. But I'm thinking just about like learning more about how like J-pop and pop idols like are represented and also perceived in that society. And so I have thought about this movie a lot since then, and it's, been a hot minute since I've last been in college. But I'm sure we'll talk about, as we talk about suggestions, but I'll kind of spoil it now. But ever since like Black Swan came out, and like every time I think about that movie, I'm always reminded of Perfect Blue. So it's, and like, as I was watching it with Brian, he was kind of reflecting on like, these are themes that we've seen before, but I think this is one of the first times that I really like encountered this theme. And also like like in the historical context of this movie came out in like 1997. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and it was enjoyable on the rewatch as well, even like with the twist revealed. Because I think there's just like a lot of really interesting dynamics in this movie, between like, you know, how a culture and like like society kind of receives pop idols or just like any kind of celebrity, how like how we understand parasocial relationships,
Mm-hmm.
in the current age of the internet, in a way where like
Mm-hmm.
they kind of have this throwaway of Mima like not really understanding how the internet works, which like
The
Yeah,
whole
also
scene.
makes sense for the time, right? Like
totally.
97,
Mm-hmm.
like this
I
is like,
loved that
you
scene.
know,
Yeah.
the internet was like the wild wild west. Like we had like GeoCities and Yahoo and AOL and AIM, and like
Mm-hmm.
I could go on and on about like the, you know, the prime of millennial internet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also like there's a lot of themes that are very resonant. Like parasocial relationships, I feel like has become even more prevalent today because of the advancement of technology and social
Mm-hmm.
media and the internet. So, and like as somebody who also like as a hobby streams, that's another piece. Like parasocial relationships comes up a lot on live streams because you're interacting with people in real time and building communities and making connections, but also like people don't necessarily know you in real life, and that can be really confusing,
Mm-hmm.
and like very hard to navigate on both ends. So I think that like, you know, I think about that as well a lot, and it kind of comes back to this. um, I also think that the pressure, like something else I was talking to Brian about, is like the pressure, um, to, well, I think it's two things. One is like the pressure to, you know, succeed when you're in the spotlight, and feeling
Yes.
that people pleasing of like doing things that maybe you don't necessarily want to do to not disappoint other people who like, you know, are striving to like help you meet this goal that you have, and like you still have the goal but maybe you're not feeling great about like the things that you're being told you need to do to get there,
Mm-hmm.
which is totally valid. But also it made me think a lot about the like child star to adult star pipeline, and how like a lot of the, you know, there was that Nickelodeon documentary and stuff, but like a lot of Nickelodeon and Disney stars needing to switch up their persona once they were moving away from like child acting, and like needed to present themselves in a more mature way, and like what did that look like to make that transition. And there's like so many different examples of that, and like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how it caused harm to a lot of people. So I all of these things are all like conjured up when I think about this movie, or vice versa. I think
For
about
sure. For sure.
like these things and then like, oh yeah, that movie.
Mm.
So I feel like it's pretty impactful in like kind of touching on these like very currently real lived things that we're dealing with, and like kind of holds all of it in like a really effective way. Well, also like we're kind of along for the ride of what Mima is experiencing, and like she is not a reliable narrator, and
Mm-hmm.
so like we also might be feeling that sense of confusion and uh
I love a not good reliable narrator movie like so
Yeah.
yeah.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like really disorienting when she was like going to work and then like waking up in bed like
Oh my
kind of
God.
like
Yeah.
in a sweat and like in the same spot that she was in yesterday, and it's like, was any of that real? Like what the hell is going
Mm-hmm.
on?
Yeah, that had like
um
Night House vibes.
Oh
mm,
yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
let me rephrase that. Night House vibes had Perfect Blue vibes in
Right.
retrospect.
Yes.
mhm.
Yes.
But yeah, like I think like that's really disturbing, just the idea of like, you know, like sometimes I'll share like sometimes I have experiences where like I have very 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 vivid dreams, and like
Mm.
when I was younger I definitely would have moments of like, did I dream that or did that really happen? Like that, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like dream wake phase where you're not entirely sure like what is real. like it's very disorienting. And this is obviously like a more extreme version of that. But if you've ever experienced it, or even just like dissociation exists on the spectrum. Like if you've ever
Sure.
zoned out, like that's dissociation on like a way milder level.
Highway
So
hypnosis.
oh god, every time we drive and it's nighttime, or sorry, let me rephrase that. Every time Brian drives, because I don't really drive, and it's nighttime, now that he mentioned that to me, I'm always like very hyper aware of when it's nighttime and he's driving, and I'm like, are you awake? Are you awake? Are you awake? Are you hypnotized by the road
God.
yet?
That's real.
Because Brian's a sleepy guy.
I am a
Yes.
sleepy guy.
But I also
I
understand.
am.
like,
I may have a hint
driving-
of narcolepsy. I've never been tested.
Maybe
Oh,
you should. You should
that
do
is
a sleep
interesting.
test.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I totally get the driving aspect and zoning out and then coming back to and being like, I was driving for a good 2 minutes and was not present at all. And that's very scary to jump back in and be like, or those moments where people are like, yeah, when you're driving home because it's a familiar way to get home, and then you just end up there and you're like, how did I even get home?
Totally.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
The muscle
driving
memory
at
takes it.
all.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Even like the one that I always find myself doing is like when I take a shower in the morning, I'm usually using my brain energy to like run through what my day is going to look like. And so then I'm like, did I shampoo my hair?
Oh, I
or like,
think about
did
that
I put
all the
conditioner instead of body wash on my loofah? Like I am so guilty of never paying attention in the shower to the point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And like, I'm making several mistakes and my day just started.
I once put moisturizer in my hair.
Oh, no.
And yes, I moisturize. Thank you for asking.
Work. Mine is a little TMI, but I'll share it anyway because safe space. But I have like Clorox wipes and my like toilet wipes because I have to have a wipe, but they're like next to each other. And if I'm not thinking about it, it's like you grab Clorox and you're like, what? Never mind.
Maybe this is a lesson to not put them next to each other.
Maybe that's just me not putting things in their proper spot.
Maybe we should all get bidets.
Oh, yes. Actually, yeah. That's healthier. And
we
it's
need to
better
get
for
on the bidet
environment,
train.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
What?
I meant to look up bidets during the Prime sale.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't have an outlet next to the toilet, so we would have to get a
But they have non-electric ones.
Yeah, we'd have to get a non-electric one.
Same. Same.
So for any bidet lovers out there, let us know your favorite bidet.
Yeah.
And again, non-electric bidet. And slide into our DM.
And that has been Toilet Talk.
Bidet, don't mind if I badoo. Line.
Incredible. I love
What's
that.
the name of the toilet in Bob's Burgers?
Right, where they have the whole ET, but it's like the toilet.
Toilet. Outside toilet, OT.
They just call it outside toilet. OT instead of ET. Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Jamie. Please continue on with your.
No. This is all really great conversation. Yeah. What else do I like about this movie? I just think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
That being said, I forgot how like violent this movie is. And not that I don't like that, but it's just like I couldn't recall that. Like I really just remembered more of the like psychological things. And I also completely forgot about the sexual assault scene, which also is like really graphic. And Brian and I were also talking about this after we were watching it, but like in that scene where the actor who is like the perpetrator, before they say action, he like apologizes to her, and it feels really icky, because it's like trying to, like desensitize, I feel like, and normalize this really graphic and gruesome thing, because it's not real, but also like, and I am not an actor, but like there's still a place that you're going to in order
Mhm.
to respond in a way that is like, making a
Yes.
believable performance that you are in that vulnerable space. And like
Mhm.
it, the apology is like, feels like an acknowledgement of that, but then still having to go through with it just almost, I feel like, feels even worse.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, just like really unexpected and awful. Not unexpected, but like I didn't remember how intense that scene was. And then also like the photography scene and
Mhm.
just her reaction to like her manager, like the male manager who is trying to like, or is that her agent? I don't actually know what the difference is between an agent and a manager, but you don't have to
Yeah.
explain to me right now. But the guy who's trying to like get her a bigger role and things like that, and her like kind of aloof but like also deeply sad responses of like, yeah, sure, like I'll do these things, but like it is
Mhm.
clear that that is not aligned with what she actually wants to do, but
Mhm.
like still wants to be an actor. And it's like, what are you willing to do? Almost like Starry Eyes in a way. It's like, how far are you
Mm.
willing to
Sure.
go in order to, achieve your goal? But like, how much of
Right.
yourself do you need to compromise in order to get
Mhm.
there? Um,
You
and
have
like,
one shot.
you only get one
One
shot. Oh my
shot.
God, we've been watching so much Dropout TV. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Dropout TV they have some great stuff.
They
Great
really
content.
do. And it's funny
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I got it from my friend with the intention of watching Dimension 20, and I'm fully in the rabbit hole of Game Changers.
Oh, great show.
Oh
It's
my
Yes.
truly
God,
great.
it's so
That's the only thing
funny.
that I watch, and every time it pops up on my social, I'm like, let me stop and watch what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a side note, I don't know what episode is about to come out, but today I saw a wild video that popped up on my feeds, and it was Brendan Lee Mulligan saying that he's leaving Dropout
Oh.
TV to pursue his dream of making shoes for American Girl dolls. And I was just like, what is happening? And
That was
I
really funny.
can't
Fantastic.
wait
You sent that
to
to me.
see whatever is next.
Yes.
Anyway, back to the thread. So the mental health of it all, obviously, like, we're seeing a character experience psychosis. And I actually think that like the hallucinations are like fairly well represented in this movie. And also saying that as somebody who has not experienced psychosis, but like understanding that like hallucinations are like seeing things that aren't really there. And like, I think there's moments where it's like kind of blips until like later in the movie, like the climax where she's being chased and like she can see reality through mirrors, which I also think is really like profound.
Yeah.
But is still having a hard time like actually seeing Rumi when she's being chased by Rumi as this other version of Mima, or as the pop idol version of Mima.
Yeah.
And like through their struggles, like not being able to differentiate is really fascinating. I do think it's interesting that like there's constantly parallels happening in this movie, and I'm always on the fence about like when movies feature dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder, because it's like obviously there's a lot that I think media gets wrong about its representation. And also like it's such a very rarely diagnosed. What was that? Sorry, I wasn't
Split.
I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
We'll do that. We'll do that movie.
We will. Yeah. It's
We were
on the
supposed
list.
to, but we will
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
There's so many M Nights to go through
I
that
know.
I'm okay with leaving that one for last.
You're so old.
But is that old?
Yeah.
I heard you don't like messes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
incredible movie.
truly all over the place, but how do I feel about D.I.D in this movie?
Save it for the M brains. You don't have
Okay,
to associate-
I will.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't.
yeah.
I won't. Yeah, I'll. You're right. I will hold my thoughts until we actually get to the brains.
So listeners,
but all in
stay
all-
tuned for our brain section.
Yes.
But all in all, I really enjoy this movie. I've only grown to appreciate it more over time, especially like pursuing a career in mental health. And yeah, I would highly recommend this to anybody who's looking for a good psychological thriller.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that because I am not the biggest anime fan.
Okay.
But and it was interesting because I also have never explored 90s anime, right? The animes that I have watched have been within the last like 10 years. And of course, the actual, drawings are different. So it was interesting just experiencing that level of animation in that time frame. And still just how graphic everything was. But I enjoyed like the more horror side of everything, all of the deaths of everyone. I also really enjoyed the internet scene, like we talked about, because it was just such a great way to introduce, because we're already so knee deep underground in what the internet is and what social media is. And it was really nice to have that introduction of this is just starting out and it's already at this level of intensity as far as someone building a whole entire page based on this person's life and what they're doing.
Really interesting point.
Yeah, and to see just how extreme it got at the very beginning, and just realizing just how far down we've gone with it. It's truly sad, and so it was kind of a reminder of how intense the internet, or how much the internet has shaped how we see each other, how we see celebrities, what our access to each other is, so it was really cool to just kind of relive that in that moment. I also loved the blurring of the lines. It was really cool having a scene cut to, you think that it might be a real moment in time, but then it ends up just being a scene for the TV show. And I love how you don't realize it until they say cut.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this isn't real life. Because I think there was a moment where she was talking either to the detective, or she was just kind of like sharing what she was Mima was sharing what she was experiencing as far as seeing things, not sleeping, whatever. But then we see that it's actually just a part of the scene in the TV show. And so I loved how they drew all that in. I had a feeling the whole time that it was Rumi, because that stalker guy was like, he's drawn too creepily for it to just be just him. Like he's too obvious. The stalker was like too obvious of a choice.
Sure.
And there's somebody else behind
the
scenes.
What was it about Rumi that led you to believe that it was Rumi?
Because she was so distraught about her having to do the rape scene, and even more distraught than Mima was. And it's as slimy as this is going to sound, your agents, even though they are there for you, they're also there because they want the money from you, because if you're not making money, they're not making money, right?
Sure.
And sad as it can be, that's most of the mindsets. And so for Rumi to be so like actually heartbroken, distraught, and I think at one point she was crying.
Yeah, she was crying and left.
Yeah, about her doing the scene. It's like, you're way too invested in this. And it also gave me Selena vibes with So
Uh-huh.
I'm like, nope, there's something going on here with
Okay,
her.
cool.
It does give Selena vibes. I
Yeah.
forgot that I was thinking
Yeah.
that while watching it too. Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very intense. So
Yolanda?
Yes.
Yolanda,
Yeah.
who's supposed to
Fuck
I mean,
her.
let
be
me
out
look it
on
up. I don't know
parole.
anything about Selena.
Salinas, you know nothing about Salinas. Yeah, so I was thinking that the whole time, and when it was actually revealed that it was Rumi, I thought, yep, that feels about right. But even though I was thinking that the whole time, I was still engaged with the whole
Yeah, sure.
with the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Uh
reveal of the like the room but the fish are alive, like this like recreation of her room,
yes.
like
Mhm.
very disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so engaging to watch. The songs were really boppy, and I also
Yeah.
love the theme too of not only how your fans or your audience or your agents see you versus how you see yourself, but also just the idea of the growth mindset of you trying to be something else or grow from what you were before. So like Mima's experience of, she was this pop star and that was something that she was working her whole life to, but now she has had a shift within herself and now she wants to be something else. And I just loved the actual imagery of the old Rumi dressed up as Mima as a pop star and like chasing after Mima, and it's kind of like your old self like trying to bring you back when you're trying to be your new self and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
grow and you're trying to move forward and you're trying to make better decisions, you know, and trying to be a better person, but then
Yeah.
part of your old self is trying to bring you back and you're like, no, I have worked hard to try to get to the other side of
Yeah.
this
Mm-hmm.
and to be this person that I want to be as opposed to who I was before. And I just love
Mm-hmm.
that idea of like, I'm not going to let my old self bring me back. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
keep moving forward. But yeah, it was a surprising, like I didn't know how I was going to feel about it going into it, but I was so surprised how into it I was. And I feel like it was the
Sure.
perfect amount of time.
Yay.
The perfect what?
Amount of time.
Oh, blue.
Oh.
Oh.
I'll see myself out now.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I had a great time watching it, and I agree with everything that Jamie just said
Yay.
about all of the themes and everything. And yeah, it was very intense and just very well written, just all of the different themes, and so engaging with the parasocial relationships especially. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was great.
Woo.
Producer Brian.
So this was my first time watching it as well, and I agree with everything that everyone here has said. I found the assault seemed to be like very deeply upsetting, especially because it wasn't real, but it was real. Like I think there was something about that juxtaposition with the "I'm sorry" that Jamie mentioned. That really was effective there.
And
I
sorry, just to say, piggyback off of that, I was thinking there were not intimacy coaches at that time, so how crazy,
and
you know.
even more than intimacy coaches, like there was the way that scene was animated and like written, like it was just very like, okay, we're gonna do this now, like not even intimacy coaches but just like any care at all, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
um that definitely stood out to me too, Nikisha. um
Hmm.
i thought that I thought everything was very clear. Even when it was vague, it was clear symbolically, thematically. Like I said, I think all the animation, specifically the editing of it, is really, really good. Um,
Yeah.
I like all those seamless cuts into like, where am I right now? It's kind of like an action scene where like a lot is happening, but the director does such a good job of letting you know where everybody is in the physical world, so you're not confused. I thought that the editing, like I knew exactly where she was at all points in time. Even if I was confused, it was very clear that like this scene is taking place here and this scene is ambiguous. You think it's here and then it's actually here. Like
Hmm.
it was all very clean in a messy way, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. But I really like the moment at the end where Rumi goes in front of the truck and she sees it as
Oh.
like the headlights.
Mhm.
Not the headlights, the
The stage
spotlight,
lights.
excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
stage
stage
lights.
lights, yeah.
I thought that was great. Um, I just really was into this, but I mostly, not mostly, but what I had a very similar experience watching this as I did watching things like the original Halloween or the
Mm.
original like Black Christmas. Just in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like, do I enjoy those movies for what they are? Yes, but you can't watch them without historical context. Through like cinema. And so I really enjoyed watching this movie, knowing a lot of the movies that it influenced, including Darren Aronofsky films, like we talked
Mhm.
about, like Jamie mentioned, Black Swan. And even though like we've broken down Black Swan here a million times, I thought it definitely gave me an interesting new, at least cinematic perspective of Black Swan. And I also read that Darren Aronofsky actually owns the rights to a remake of Perfect Blue. Whether he'll
Oh.
actually ever
Hmm.
exercise them or do them, or he's just protecting it from like never being remade in an exact manner, I don't know. But that's very interesting to me. And
Hmm.
he's admitted, people like accuse him of like, stealing from Perfect Blue, but also like he's like, yeah, I didn't steal it. Like I use this as an influence to make Black Swan.
Right,
Um,
right.
and anyway, I really liked watching this with all of that historical context. And without spoiling anything, it's very interesting to see like what you know dissociative identity disorder films came beforehand, because usually when someone has DID, it's the twist of the movie. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
say any of them, but like before
Mhm.
that, and the ones that have come afterwards, and even ones that
Mhm.
don't have DID, how they like one of my suggestion for this movie for later. I'm not going to say it
Mhm.
now. Like how it deals with a lot of those things in the context of different industries, and I just really, and just identity in general.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, Nikisha. That scene where she's learning the internet, I just think adds a whole different like level to this movie, if you will. Um, because that had never kind of been done before this, because it couldn't have, internet
Right,
wise.
right.
Mhm.
Um, I guess my one gripe about this movie is, and maybe I'm just being overthinking it or being
Hmm.
overly sensitive or whatever it is, but I don't know. I guess you didn't have to make the stalker. You didn't have to draw him like that and make him like this
Yeah.
dim-witted
Yeah.
kind of like deformed monster-looking character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like part of me like liked that campy, pulpy aspect to the anime, and I think that's
Mhm.
a part of anime too, as a just you know uh, stereotype or archetype for an anime or whatever, however you want
Yeah.
to define it. But like, it didn't have to be that way, even though that added to some of the red herring aspect of it.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Also, something I did like, going back to it, I like that the DID stuff, a was a part of the TV show reveal, if you will, um,
Hmm.
because it not only just like taught us about it, so the actual twist they didn't have to explain it, but also it kind of undercut itself in a good way. It's like, well, they already did the DID, so that's just a red herring. It's not going to be DID if you were looking for a twist in this movie,
Yeah.
and
Right.
and it still was, but it was just somebody else, and it was more interesting. It being Rumi with her being a former pop star, like the end was way more interesting than the twist itself, and that's what makes
Hmm.
this movie successful to me. It wasn't just like it's DID, this happened, okay, moving on. I just so thematically was important, I guess. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with all of you.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a great point, Brian, about they already revealed the DID, but it ends up not even being Mima, it's Rumi. I thought that was, yeah,
Yeah,
a really fun way to kind of pivot and introduce it, but you can still have a twist
yeah,
aside
Mhm.
from
totally.
that. Mhm.
Hmm.
Great. Any lasting thoughts before we move on?
Good movie.
Good movie.
It was good. Watch movie. Yes. Great. I don't know. So let's move on to our next segment. brains.
Brains.
Delicioso.
Yes. Tasty. Okay, so my first question is we have to Billy or Stu Rumi.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. It's a scream, baby.
Billy or Stu.
Also, just have to say, I have decided that the Scream movies are now my comfort movies. I have rewatched 1 through 6, and I have to say that Parker Posey deserves justice. She should not, spoiler, she should not have died in Scream 3, and I need her to come back in some form or facet.
Okay,
That's all I know
hot
about that.
take.
And that was a hot take.
She should have been the second killer in Scream 3, as it should have
hot
been.
take.
It should have been the obviously spoiler alerts for Scream 3, I guess.
Whoa.
It should have definitely
What?
been. It should have been the one it was,
Mhm.
Roman, but it
Yeah.
should have also been her because she should have been doing. She should have been. She's an actress. She should
Mhm.
have been doing like the work. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
She,
Like
why can't I think of it?
method acting.
Method. Thank you.
Yes.
It should have been method. And like, what a disappointment that she didn't get that scene that we all kind of wanted. She got a fine
Right.
death with the mirrors and stuff like that. But like, anyway, that's
No,
my
I get
hot
that.
take for that. Yeah.
I can see that because it just gives her more anyway, and I just wanted Parker Posey to have more. And the
Yeah.
campiness of 3, how it literally is just laughing at itself is icing on the cake. But anyway, all that to say, Billy or Stu, Rumi, Jamie, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like the way that they present it, she's definitely more of a Billy because it does seem like more plotting is happening behind her actions. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
I mean,
Do you-
to be fair, it could be Billy and Stu since it's D.I.D.
Jamie's like, no, I don't buy it.
No, wrong.
I don't know about all that.
Well, could the stalker guy be a Stu, and they can work in that way? Like Rumi is the Billy, and the stalker
Sure.
guy is the Stu.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Well, now's the time, Jamie. Tell us what you think about dissociative identity disorder, and also if you want to just give like a blanket definition for the people, and then how you felt about it within this movie.
Yes, for the people.
Yes.
So DID, also known as dissociative identity disorder, previously known as multiple personality disorder, is essentially there's at least 2 different individual like personalities that exist within one physical person, and it's largely like related to trauma as being the like inciting cause of DID, like early childhood trauma is a risk factor, typically like, well, yeah. That being said, like it's a very controversial diagnosis.
Mhm.
I think like for some people it's really hard to understand like how somebody can like hold more than one like full identity within themselves. And so like part of the idea behind it is when you experience really severe trauma, especially when you're a child, and again thinking about like what I said earlier about dissociating, like sometimes we space out, sometimes we're not paying attention, sometimes when we're experiencing like trauma we go somewhere else. On a more extreme level, we might go somewhere else and then somebody else, like a protector type of entity within, like psychological protector, might be present in lieu of like the us that would have been present during like a really traumatic event. So that's kind of what I would say it looks like, and again, like, at a minimum it's 2, but it can be more. They're also referred to as alters, the different personalities or different personality states. um
When you say
and
at least 2,
mhm.
is that outside of the original personality, or is that inclusive of the original
Great
personality?
question.
I think it's inclusive of the original personality. It's 2 distinct personality states.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. And then it's also, so again, like with dissociation, like the idea is like we don't remember, like we're spacing out, we're not thinking, or like, what we were talking about, like in the shower, not paying attention, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
On, again, more like extreme like pieces of the spectrum, there's other dissociative experiences. So like depersonalization is when you feel detached from yourself. Like you feel like there is distance between yourself and your thoughts or your feelings. It might feel like you are like outside of your own body watching yourself. A lot of people who have experienced like assault report that type of like that type of response. As a, again, it's almost like our like psychological mind is trying to protect us from these horrible experiences, and like we're not doing this intentionally. Like this is just like how we are responding in the moment to a very traumatic event. There's also derealization, where it feels like you're disconnected from reality. So like one example is like feeling like you're watching reality as if it was like a TV show. Like it doesn't feel like you're actually like in reality, you are like observing it. So there can be elements of that within dissociative identity disorder, but there's definitely a like marked memory piece where it's beyond just forgetfulness. Like there are full memory gaps in your experience, in your reality. Like if an alter is like, in control, then you might not be aware of like time passing until that primary state is back in control.
Which is so scary to think about.
That's
like,
wild.
Yeah, it is really scary. And like there is therapy that people go to in order to like figure out how to kind of coexist with the alters. So there's yeah, it's I think people find it very interesting, but it also stirs up a lot of controversy around its legitimacy, and things like that. But yeah, like the spectrum of dissociation is really fascinating. Actually, dissociative amnesia is another one. Again, like where there's a significant memory gap, but like you are unable to like recall information about like who you are. There's a movie, hold on, I don't want to get this wrong. Nurse Betty, if you've ever heard of that movie.
Oh, the TV show? Oh no, this is a movie. Sorry,
No.
I'm thinking of...
No, it's
That's
a
Nurse
movie.
Jackie. Nurse
Thank
Betty
you.
is
Also a good show.
Is with
Renee Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she essentially has dissociative amnesia after witnessing a like her husband being murdered, and then she's kind of in this like fugue state, where again it's like she like is unable to recall what happened. Like her brain is just like fully not there.
Wow.
So, and Morgan Freeman and Chris Rock played the hitmen who killed her husband. It's a Black comedy.
So it's like Chris Rock. Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
Rock,
so
the actor
that's
from Spiral, from the Book of Saw.
Right.
But yeah, so that's another example of like media picking a particular like part of dissociation and showcasing it there. So yeah, that's D.I.D.
How'd you feel about it in the movie?
We don't really know that much about like Rumi's trauma. Not that we need to in order to like legitimize her
Yeah,
experience. But I feel like there's always that thing in movies where it's like, you know, the character who is represented by having dissociative identity disorder is like slowly becoming more of the other personality. And like
Mhm.
we kind of see that here. And I mean, I also say this as someone who is not an expert on dissociative identity disorder. That is not an
Sure.
area that I specialize in by any means. Like I understand dissociation and I can like, you know, talk through that experience. But so it's hard for me to say if that feels real, especially if like unsupported by like therapy.
yeah.
But I feel like that's really tropey and like convenient for the sake of this movie. And that being said, I think that there is something really interesting about how they talk about when Mima is in the show, and like they kind of like parallel that experience of like her character in the show
Mm-hmm.
has dissociative identity disorder because of trauma. And like I kind of enjoy how they try to explain it. And like, you know, that she experienced this traumatic event and like now she's taken on this totally different persona. um I thought that was interesting. So I don't like fully hate it, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm always a little bit skeptical whenever a movie uses any mental health device, but I am always especially skeptical when they use dissociative identity disorder.
Sure.
Absolutely. Well, because like you said, it's such a spectrum, and I guess for the sake of whatever story they're trying to tell, they'll just fall into one thing or fall into a stereotype, just, you know, to get it out there. But it's like, if you're going to do it, like, explore the thing and talk about it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can understand that. Great. Well, my last question just has to deal with parasocial relationships, especially in our internet age. So I was first wondering, is that like an official uh, term within the world of psychology, or is it just like a term that we collectively kind of call this phenomenon? And do you think parasocial relationships have had any impact on how we develop in-person, face-to-face relationships?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, so it's not like there's no like diagnosis there, like it's
Okay.
just a type of relationship dynamic, but I mean, it's definitely grown in popularity, and I imagine that there's significantly more studies that are being done and have been done over time about how, like, even before, you know, the type of media that we have access to now, there were still like prolific people historically,
Right.
and like how people related to them, I think also continue to you know, present with elements of parasocial relationships. I think like access is a big part of it. So like
Yes.
obviously depending on what kind of access, the tools that are being used to access said famous person, but that's like the component. Like anytime that somebody is gaining access to someone else, like there could be a risk involved, and it's not, I mean, access is like a part of it,
Yeah.
but uh so I think that like in general there are like parasocial interactions that we have, and then I think when it becomes a parasocial relationship, that is when the dynamic has the potential to become more unhealthy, because there is this idea, like it is implying that there is then a relationship there. And I
Sure.
think that's where, you know, the you know, challenges start to arise, is like somebody is under the impression that they have a more intimate type of relationship with that person than is than reality actually is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, the more information that you learn about somebody, that relationship feels like it intensifies. And the more like transparency and self-disclosure that a person offers also might intensify that relationship. So it feels like it's reciprocal for people because they're learning more about someone, and it might be perceived as like vulnerability, but it's not, because they are not actually friends.
Right.
um so so yeah, and I think like it has gotten significantly worse with like, you know, social media, and not only like how media is presenting like people in positions of power and famous people and things like that, but also like when famous people themselves are on social media and like presenting themselves as like you know, either sharing information or just like being their normal selves, and like we consume that, and it's like, oh my god, like me and Sabrina Carpenter are both like
Right.
really funny. Like maybe we can like hang out or whatever.
Hilarious.
But like, yeah, I think that it's harder and harder for people to recognize that like they don't actually know these people. They can admire, like there's a difference between like admiration versus feeling like you really know someone.
Yes.
um and I think also like stan culture is a part of that
Yes.
too, where there just becomes this like really intense like obsession to the point of like this person can't do any wrong, and like I will stand by this person in a way where like I will come to their defense and like blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
like they're holding them to this like such a high standard that inevitably like that person is probably going to disappoint them. And then like how do you
Exactly.
deal with that? Like
Yeah.
another psychological blow when the person that like you think is your friend, that you feel so strongly for, like you feel betrayed by them. Again, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of risk for like just some very unhealthy and potentially even dangerous consequences if these relationships go unchecked. And I mentioned before, like I stream as a hobby, and so I'm talking to people, and I have genuinely connected with some people through streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, like I'm not friends with everybody who is, you know, coming to my streams, and like uh you know, like it just becomes like a really precarious thing, and like boundaries are always like I will never stop talking about boundaries until I'm dead.
Yes.
Because like that is like a key piece in keeping oneself safe on all ends, that like, you know, both the consumer and also the like the famous person or whatever,
Right.
is like boundaries protect everybody. You know, you can be authentic and transparent, but like I think within reason, perhaps we don't have to share everything. And like vice versa, if we're consuming this content, recognizing that like just because we're, you know, we're reading these anecdotes about the person, or like they're showing us their lives on TikTok and like going out and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like that doesn't mean that we really know them, because ultimately social media is a facade, and it's not reality no matter what.
Yeah.
Like it's not encompassing of all of reality. It's pieces
Right.
that people are comfortable sharing of themselves, and not the whole picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're setting
No,
up
I
their
agree.
tripod in the morning before they get up.
Exactly. But what's so funny about parasocial relationships on even a micro level, I just think about the other Broadway people in the industry that
Hmm.
I'll be friends with via social media, and then see them in person and realize that I've never actually met them in person, but we've had so many
Sure.
interactions that it's like, oh wait, this is the first time we're actually
Hmm.
meeting in person. Or even vice versa, there'll be someone that I have met but I feel I don't remember, and so I think that we only have a social media relationship and then it's like, oh wait, no, I can approach this person or say hello because we have actually met before.
Yeah.
So it's really crazy just how those lines can be blurred so quickly just with everything. But yeah, great. But that's all that I have for that. Should we rotten tomatin this?
Let's do it.
Tomatin.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yes, yes.
Do you like tomatoes?
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game.
All right. What do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes? Jamie, let's start with you.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say 69.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to say like 83.
84.
Wow. All right.
And
all right,
the
all right.
audience score of the popcorn meter is 89.
Work.
Good.
Perfect Blue is over stylized, but its core mystery is always compelling, as are the visual theatrics. Don't tell me it's over stylized and then say that the visual theatrics are great.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I thought it would be higher, to be totally honest, but that's
I mean,
interesting.
yeah. Same.
I went lower because I guess I was just like perceiving critics as being more critical of it.
Yeah, sure.
Even though I really like it. And I
Yeah.
feel like I'm always wrong.
Never.
All right. What do you think this has on Letterboxd? As a reminder, Letterboxd rates from 0 to 5 with decimal points. Nikisha, you go.
3.8.
3.8. Okay, Jamie.
3.7.
4.4.
Wow.
What?
That's one of the highest ones.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Okay.
All
I
right.
told you it's a good movie.
It is. And here are the most popular reviews. At number 3, Darren Aronofsky, retire, bitch.
Yes.
That's funny.
Number 2, imagine your card declines at therapy and they show you this.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, that's rude.
Yeah.
And then the most popular review is Black Swan was found dead in a ditch.
Oh
Yeah.
man, everyone's really coming for Darren Aronofsky.
I know. I will also want to share one by David Sims from the Blank Check podcast. If I were a beautiful pop star suggested to the horrors of fandom, I would never go online or have a murderous doppelganger. Instead, I'd probably do a lot of crafting.
Absolutely. That part.
Oh, that's funny.
Cool. Should we do the 4 S's?
Yes.
Skull, scare, shakes, and suggestions. The Talking Horrors 4 S's.
So the 4 S's are skulls, scares, shakes, and suggestions. Is how we rate the movie. Skulls is how well this movie depicts and handles human behavior and mental health. Scares is how scary was it, and then shakes how much this is going to last with you and stuff like that. Ooh.
That was me being scared.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I got scared,
Yes.
but I had to hold it in because I was explaining for the 4 S's.
Sure. You were being brave.
I was being. Oh my God, thank you so much. I really like the T-shirts that are like, what are the T-shirts like?
My tummy hurts, but I'm being brave about it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Wait, don't you hate the word tummy? When
But I love it on that shirt because it's ironic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like that shirt is exactly how I think about them. It's like I'm being brave because I have a tummy like you are a 45-year-old adult. Like,
but you like the shirt.
yeah, absolutely. Jamie, why don't you go first?
I I like that I knew exactly what you meant.
Right.
And I
100%.
can't tell you how often I'm tempted to buy, like, there's like variations of it where it's like, I have a headache, but I'm being brave about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Or there's another one that's like, I have a tummy ache and I'm mad at the government.
That's funny.
But my
want that
favorite one that I've ever come across is one that just says, MILF. Man, I love frogs.
Absolutely.
I really want that, but I'm like how I think I have too much social anxiety to actually like wear that in public. But if you want to buy me a MILF Man I Love Frog shirt, and you're listening, my t-shirt size is a size large. I guess we don't have a PO box. So hold on to
No.
it until we get one.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Just
okay,
DM
so
that we're gonna
yeah.
get.
For Skulls, I gave it a 7.5 because I
wow.
just think, you know, because of all the things that we were talking about, like these are themes that continue to resonate to this day.
Yeah.
In terms of human behavior. For Scares, I gave it a 4. Just because of all of the like graphic violence and graphic sexual assault, and things like that. All of that is very disturbing to me.
Mm-hmm.
For Shakes, I'm giving this an 8. Because again, like I saw this movie when I was in college and I've been thinking about it ever since. And I've suggested doing it on this very podcast for the entirety that we've been doing it. And I'm just very glad that I was able to bully you both into finally watching it.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad that you bullied us. Yeah. Into watching it. No, that's great.
Nikisha.
Yeah, my scores are similar. I'm gonna give it an 8 for Skulls, a 4 for Scares, and a 7 for Shakes. Only points knocked off because I'm not big on anime, but everything else about it was fantastic.
I also gave it an 8 for Skulls. I gave it a 3 for. No, I'll go through the group. I'm gonna give it a 4 for Scares, and then I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8 for Shakes.
Shakes, great.
Yeah. Let's do some suggestions. I'm gonna start. Smile 2.
Oh man.
You took mine. No,
you got.
Do you have another one, Brian?
Yes. K-pop Demon Hunters, which I have not watched, but it's supposed to be good.
Yeah, I need to just put that on my list to watch. I have another one just talking about unreliable narrator and like stan fandom. The TV show Swarm.
I was thinking about that.
Beyonce.
Good one.
Yeah, when I started talking about Stan, I was like, "Oh, right, there's that show." But
that show was crazy, but I loved it.
Yeah, did you watch the whole thing? Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild ride, and the Beehive was definitely buzzing about the TV show, and Beyonce even made a comment about it in her Renaissance show. She said, "Swarm on these hands." That's what she said.
Oh, that's funny.
Right before she's saying,
I love that.
"America has a problem." She was like, "Swarm on these hands," and then started singing that song.
That's really funny.
Interesting.
I love that. Get them.
Jamie, your suggestion?
Yeah.
Oh, mine was only Black Swan.
Oh, okay. Still a great one.
Mm-hmm.
He chose me, mommy.
Oh,
he picked me.
He picked me, yeah.
Mommy,
don't say it anymore. Stop it.
God.
Stop it. I'm upset.
I love it so much.
Stop it.
So
I'm upset.
Great.
Great. Fantastic. Well, that wraps up our episode of Perfect Blue. You can follow us on the Instagram, on the TikTok at Talk Horror Pod. And Producer Brian, where can they listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever you get podcasts. So that's like,
God.
I know, that's like YouTube. Hi, YouTube. That's like Spotify. Thanks for listening, Spotties. And Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And thank you. Gorgeous. We got to put some like K-pop jam at the end of this.
Smooth like butter.
That's it.
I'm not going to do that. only because
We'll get
maybe I
copyright
will.
struck.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll put in. Well, I have. Yeah, we'll make it happen. We'll figure it out.
Also, don't be mad that like we're talking a lot more about K-pop, even though we recognize that this is about
Yes.
J-pop.
Thank you.
I just want
Yes.
to say that before everyone
Yeah.
starts yelling at us. Very.
They've already
briefly.
written their comments from an hour.
Now they're
ago,
like
but-
delete.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, they fix it. Jimmy's so respectful, but they'll still say, "Fuck Brian and Nikisha."
Well, here's your J horror for you. If you want to just go into it, here's a suggestion. It's a movie called House that was made in the 70s. And it's absolutely insane, super psychedelic, and just a slight spoiler because there's even more other things that are insane than this. A girl gets eaten by a piano. So there you go.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yes. It's called House. Go watch it. There's your J horror for the day.
Horror.
Great. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see
Okay.
you next time.
Bye.
Bye.